Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom to Yakmanakwa out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. And this one's an impromptu lesson. I actually had something else planned today. But, you know, that's as the apostle say, if you want to make the Most High laugh, you know, tell him you got plans. So, you know, it was a rough approximation. I said, I'll probably do that lesson tomorrow. I'll put it together. And then this popped up on Reddit twice on same page, Black People Reddit. And as I'm making this, it is May 31st, all right? And May 31st is, as they would call it, the anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre. And you can see a couple of photos here. You got two posts here. This one over here is, same place, Black People have read it. And it says, remembering May 31st, the terrorist attack on Black America 105 years ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thousands of properties destroyed. More than 300 Black Tulsans were murdered. The exact number remains unknown due to the haphazard disposal of bodies in the river, on flatbed rail cars, and in unmarked mass graves. And this one looks like it's actually got a couple of photos. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to read these posts, but I think what we're going to do is actually go and get the... how do I want to do it? I guess we'll read these first. How do I want to do it? How do I want to do it? Let's just open one here. One should actually give us a link. It would be great if it would give us a link. But this is just one of many genocides, if you really want to get down to it, of the so-called black individual. And they've done it, one for each of us, right? For the Israelites, of course, the Israelites being the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. If you look into it, there are events like this for the so-called black folks. There's events like this for the so-called Latinos, and there's events like that for the so-called Native American. And they do that because they hate us, okay? And they hate us because we all go back to our forefather and, you know, our progenitor of who we are, Jacob, okay? Jacob, whose name was later, of course, changed to Israel. And that's what we're going to talk about. Really, that's the scriptures we're getting. Some of the scriptures we already got yesterday, dealing with how Esau is and their covering casts. But, you know, putting these names, it's that perpetual hatred. We grabbed that yesterday. It's that perpetual hatred. They have an issue with us, and that all stems from us getting the blessing and not them. Okay, they're a bunch of salty little bitches, and that's it. All right, so they hate all of our people. All right, especially the so-called Negroes, but so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And a lot of the time you see it big with the Latinos as well. You know, they're trying to kick them out the country right now. And the Native Americans, of course, they've just put them in the back of the closet and, you know, shut the door. I'm going to roll up this window real quick. They've just put the so-called Native Americans in the back of the closet and just shut the door and, you know, shack them away. So, you know, out of sight, out of mind type situation, right? You don't hear much about them, don't see much about them, unless you live next to a res or places like Arizona with a high population, all right, of so-called Native Americans, right? So it's just, you know, they have this constant issue against our people, and they specifically really have a big issue with the so-called black folk, all right? That's the ones that have the Esau just, you know, just can't get enough of harming, all right, the so-called black person, right? And so this is the Tulsa Race Massacre. Of course, why would they do that? Because they wanted to do that. It's that perpetual hatred. They hate Jacob, right? So let's read what's said here. We're going to try to get more information actually on the Wikipedia, but let's see what it says. It says, as today marks the anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre driven by jealous Edomites, all right, they say white Americans, they're really Edomites, all right, and the people that the Lord had indignation against forever. Another scripture would be, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated, all right, and this is the type of stuff that you're a loathsome person, Esau, all right, you're unable to be loved, all right, because of your wickedness and your hostility and your evil imaginations and your mischief and all the constant, you know, as the scriptures say, feet running to mischief, I believe, as it says, you know, always constantly ready to do harm and do evil, but not to do good. As another scripture says, we can go and get that. If he doeth good, if Esau does anything good, he damn sure didn't mean to do it. This is Ecclesiasticus 14:7. It says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. So he'll make sure that his wickedness does go out, in fact, all right? But if he does something good, he does it unwillingly. And the example I always use that is that they could create some type of chemical that creates super cancer, right? A rapidly spreading cancer, but when they introduce it into the human body, it actually kills all cancer cells, right? It's actually so aggressive, it kills all the cancer cells and then it kills itself, all right? That would be something that he didn't mean to do, right? And that's the type of stuff that you don't think there's a cure for cancer out there. There's been cures for cancer. There's millions of them. They always disappear, all right? Elam's found several amount. Moab's found several amount. I think even Ishmael has found several cures for cancer out constantly, repeatedly. But you hear about them, this group, found a cure for cancer, and then it just goes away. All right? It just goes away. And that means people are constantly finding them, and they're more than likely getting contact saying, hey, you better shut the fuck up about this or we'll kill you and your family. And on top of that, before these individuals had it, they've been had one. They've been had one for the most elite of the elite. Not the lower luminaries, because sometimes they'll let them get cancer, because, again, you can't let the... if all of a sudden no one's dying from it up and the higher up, then, well, it's going to seem a little suspicious. So it's more for the higher, all right, of the luminaries, all right, the 13 Jewish families. It's more for them. It's very private. It's like the same thing with the Ebola cure. They say there's no cure for Ebola, but there was 2 individuals. I don't remember if they're Edomites of some variety. I can't remember if they were European or if they were American. They ended up contracting it, and this was years ago before this, second wave of the Ebola mass outbreak. But this is back in 2010 when the whole Ebola thing really started being heard of. I believe it was 2010, 2012 maybe. But two Edomite individuals ended up contracting it, and they were taken to the CDC, they might have been taken to the World Health Organization directly. They ported them in, and then I guess within 48 hours or something like that, they were completely cured of it and just went about. And there's not that much information about it, but you can look into that. So how is that done if there's no cure? Well, they've got a cure for these things. They're just not gonna release them to society. All right, the average society. All right, they need to keep us sick and dying. All right, that's how they can stay on top. All right, but anyway, Ecclesiasticus 14:7 again. And if he doeth good, those were some examples. He doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. At last he will make sure that his wickedness goes out, and really he'll try his damnedest. Right? If the Lord doesn't want it to happen, it's not going to happen at the end of the day. But going back here, it says. Of the Tulsa Massacre driven by jealous Edomites bent on committing gentrification genocide. Absolutely. It says, we cannot let the Trump administration continue to hide white American transgressions towards black people and their community. Well, it's not just about Trump. All right, and see, a lot of our people, as the scriptures say, we've been getting this a lot lately. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Our people think it's just, it has something to do with Americans. It has something to do with Trump. Not really. I mean, was it Malcolm X? I believe it was Malcolm X, and he said the only difference between the Republican and the Democrat is that the Democrat will stand with the black person, all right, until an opportunity comes about, and then they'll stab him in the back. Malcolm X, Democrat quote. And that's a problem. A lot of it's Democrats. Look, it doesn't matter if it's Trump, and it doesn't matter if it's Biden. It doesn't matter if it's Kamala. All right, Kamala. All right, don't fucking matter. All right, who it is at the end of the day, because a lot of you so-called black folk and so-called I won't say so much so-called Latino, the Latino female, were convinced that Kamala was going to be like the fucking, basically like God, all right? She was going to come back and be the deliverer for, the fucking black people all over America, and that's not how it was. If you look into her, she was a fucking snitch, she was a rat, and she created one of the biggest campaigns against black Americans in the inner city projects, all right, possibly ever, all right, and was locking up specifically black men in mass, all right, for minor crimes. Okay, look into that. They don't want you to know that. All right, and what was she anyway? Was she Indian, black, or white? Because you have one is like, my name's Kamala, and then the next one is, my name is Kamala, all right, and the next one is like, yeah, my name's Kamala. She would fucking code switch. This bitch wasn't on your side, all right, but again, a lot of our people are fucking dumb as shit, all right, and they don't understand anything. Okay, they've been tricked by the system, all right? The system, and even black culture, right? Black culture is not black culture. Israelite culture is Israelite culture, all right? But black culture is not, is the word rumination? No, it's not in accordance to Israelite culture. Black culture is white culture, all right? Rap music, white culture, all right? That was all, of course, originally, yes, Jake did make rap music, but the gangster rap was progenited, all right, by white individuals that were trying to sell access, all right, to privately funded prisons, all right? You can go and look. This isn't just me saying it, all right? This is individuals that were actually in the scene, so-called other black individuals that were saying, yes. And those groups like that, we were contacted by small hats, 1948ers, all right? The juice boxes, all right? Can't say who they really are. 1948, look it up. And what state was founded in 1948? Go and look that up. With that, all right, they said, oh, you know, if you make this music for us, we'll give you access to essentially basically stock in these privately owned prisons, and the more people we get locked up, the better, the more money we'll make. So you need to keep on making this rap music that'll make people act a fool, and we can continue, you know, filling up these prisons, because it was in their interest to fill up prisons. But you want to say black music, you know, black rap music is liberation. It's not liberation, all right? It's shackles, it's chains, it's just disguised with a melanated fucking coat of paint, right? And that's more oppression for our people. All right, and people want to say, it's yeah, the original, a hip, a hop, a hip to the hippity. That, yes, but when they started adding shit, I'm a bust a cap in your ass real quick. I'm coming up on a killer fucking tip or shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck? That's a psyop, man. That's a psyop. All right. For the song I think about is Tonight's the Night That I Get In Some Shit. That's basically the song I ripped off. Deep cover on an incognito tip. Right. What was it? I can't remember the rest of that lyrics, but it was Dr. Dre. Who else was in that song? Was it Snoop? Might have been Snoop in that song. But yeah, man, all those songs. I'm thinking about your rap songs now, and they're good. They're good songs. Like, I mean, like they're catchy and stuff. But the message behind them is aggressive. You know. It's aggressive, and this is coming from someone who listens to a lot of heavy metal and what they would call extreme metal, right, with growling and stuff in it, and you say, oh, that's demonic, but at the end of the day, I mean, like, I don't feel the energy coming off of a rock song, all right, like, there's a very negative energy that comes off of a lot of the modern rap music, all right, there's like, I can't explain it, those that listen to it, like, there's just, especially drill, man. All right, because at the end of the day, you might have an old metal song talking about slicing someone in half with a sword or, you know, doing whatever, but those individuals didn't really do that, all right, at least in this life, all right? We have past lives where people probably have done stuff like that, but they didn't do that. The Jake now with the drill rap, when they say, I saw him rolling on 3rd Street, he thought he was real slick, I pulled up in my whip, and I hit him real quick. It's like, he's talking about something that, it was 7:47 p.m. I saw him, he was rolling with little Spooky and them. I sprayed him fucking twice. I hit him in the lip, I hit him in the thigh, I watched him cry as he died, you know, and then he had his funeral. It was on 52nd Street, and it was on 52nd Street near that tree that grows the peaches, and it's been there since I was a kid, and it's right across the street from the church. I mean, if you add that up, man, he's telling the exact place and where it happened. It's snitch rap, really. He's telling you the exact place, where it happened, what gun he used, I hit him with a 9, right? Why'd I do it? Because I'm fine, right? Crime is all that's on my mind. My mind is all about crime. Onyx. You know, stuff like that. Right? And Onyx was, you know, they had songs like that, but they, you know, those guys more than likely weren't doing it. They might have had instances at the beginning. But these drill rappers, they're doing that shit, man. They're doing that shit. They were talking about with the King Von case. He's been dead by now, but that they actually tracked the murder and where it went down by the song, you know, because he ran through the door, got out, shot the guy, ran through the door, went through the back, jumped over a fence, and they said, look, that everything is literally where it happened, all right? So you're listening to real murder tales. You might have a death metal song that's talking about, chased through the forest and hacked up for barbecue, like a song by Mortician, but all that is a lyrical horror movie, right? It's the same thing as a horror movie, right? A horror movie, those The horror movie, the people in the movie, they're not really doing it. All right, the people singing the song, they're not really doing it. But with the drill rap, they're really doing that shit. All right, when you have a heavy metal song that says I chopped his arm off, they didn't really chop anyone's arm off. When you hear a rap song that says I hit him twice in the leg, hit him in the thigh, watched him die, they did that shit. They really did do that. That's something that's real. They're singing about a real event that occurred. All right, and anyway, but that's the shit that like is put into our community. And it's so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American because we're all grouped together in the grand scale of things with Esau. They just hate certain groups a little bit more than others, but at the end of the day, we're all considered a bug on the windshield of life to them that they want to cleanse and exterminate, right? And what they do is they infiltrate, man. They infiltrate. Everything is infiltrated, all right? I mean, you look at sports, there's a big thing that a lot of black folk are into, a lot of Latinos and Native Americans, especially so-called black folk, with the sports. And those are basically just modern-day slave trades, man. All right, they measure them, they do all this different weird shit, they put them on scales, and it's weird. It's freaky, weird shit, man. And Colin Kaepernick, all right, Kaepernick was talking about that, right? And everybody had fucking evil thoughts towards him. Oh, this is good. All the white people were upset. I'm not going to be listening to anybody that says they're a slave. They willingly did it. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's a job, but it don't mean that it's, you got to understand there's many definitions of slavery. All right, Roman slaves were usually paid. I don't know if you know that or not, but they were still slaves. Nowadays, if you pay someone, they're not a slave, they're being paid. Well, that's not, you're thinking about the modern definition of slavery, when you completely jumped out your boots during the transatlantic slave trade. That's different. But anyway, I'm rambling now. But again, our culture, for all of Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, has been infiltrated, all right, by the white man, putting things there for you, saying, so you can say that's something black, all right, that's something Mexican, all right, that's something Cuban, it's not, it's something white, okay, it's so-called white, it's something Edomite, it's an Edomite culture, it's an Edomite culture to kill, it's an Edomite culture to have guns, it's an Edomite culture to be evil and wicked and think about, killing and slaughtering and torturing individuals. It's a Edomite, these are all Edomite customs, right? These are all Edomite customs. But they're put on our people, and people say, "Oh, defend black culture." Black culture has got to go, and Israelite culture has got to replace it. We got to know that our people got to know that the Lord is the true power, all right, and that we're not black, we're not Mexican, we're not going back into Latino or Native American. Going back into the lesson I made yesterday, we are the Lord's chosen people, the only people upon the face of the earth that the Lord chosen and loves. No other nation has He loved like Israel. All right, let's go and get that. You only have I known. And this is why we're going through the hell that we're going through now. And Jake is simple. They say, so why if the Lord's our Lord, why we go to slavery? For punishment. So he's an asshole then because he punished. That's what, you don't understand it, man. You don't understand it. So you should just be able to fuck up forever and never have nothing happen to you, right? So the Lord's the bad guy. No, Esau's the whipping stick, all right, and the Lord is the one who allowed that to happen because you didn't want to get right, Jake, and you want to say all evil types of things against the Lord. Again, our people have no accountability. You don't want to have accountability for your actions, for your wickedness, the things that you've done, all right, but you want to blame the Lord and say it was wrong for Him to do that. Why? That's just one of the He warned you, all right, in Deuteronomy 28, right before all that, you were warned several times, all right. There comes a point where you're not going to be warned no more. Okay, you're not going to be warned no more. If your dad says, "Hey, don't go in that closet and get those cookies I hid," and you go and do it, says, "Hey, all right, I told you not to do that. All right, now you're going to get a spanking. All right, and then you do it again, you get a spanking. There's going to be at some point. Eventually the punishment must increase. Okay, eventually the punishment must increase. But now when the punishment's increasing, even though you've been warned, now Dad's an asshole, right? Stupid, man. All right, Amos 3:2. And this is why we've gone to this. You're not going to whoop someone else's kids, all right? Well, black people have been through the most thing, and the Lord's never helped. No, the reason that our people have been through the most, all right, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have been through the most, all right, is because we're the Lord's people, and we've been through the most because you're not going to whip someone else's kids, all right? If someone's kids come nearby and do something, you might shoot them, right? Doing something, trying to come and hurt your kids or something like that, trying to attack them with a weapon, you might shoot them, but you're not going to spank them, all right? Spanking is for correction. Judgment is for death, okay? Not always death, but usually it's very grave and very severe, right? But Amos 3:2, it says, "You only have I known," and we got to get from verse 1 because it mentions Israel specifically. All right, and again, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites. So, verse 1, Amos 3:1, hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. And then going to look into the being brought out of Egypt. Our people were bitching, whining, complaining, screeching, and moaning, and we had better food in Egypt. We had more water in Egypt. We had meat in Egypt. If I was in Egypt right now, did you know if I was in Egypt? Fuck you, asshole. Go back to Egypt then and fucking die. All right, have fucking Pharaoh beating your ass constantly, day in and day and night. You want to bitch about going? Go back. Go back. Go back to Egypt then. Right? Go back. All right, and that shows you that the Lord is much better than I. All right, and Moses had much more patience than me, because I would have dropped those motherfuckers right the fuck off. I said, fuck off then. Get out. Get out. I ain't leading you shit no more. I ain't leading you nowhere. Not a goddamn thing. Go. Fuck off. What? Fuck. Go back. No, go back. Go. Well, come on, everybody. We're going back. What do you mean we're going? We're going back. We're going back to Egypt. You want to go so bad? Come on. We're turning the car around. We're going back to Egypt. All right, because you want to bitch, you want to whine, you say you had it so good. Well, we're not going to find a promised land anymore. Fuck that. We're going back to Egypt because Egypt's so much better, right? And I'm dropping your ass off, and when I'm the Lord is he's not going to contact you anymore. I'm gonna let him know that you're completely fucked up and gone, and you guys can just fucking stay where you're at, and you're gonna fucking rot. Fuck you. And if the Pharaoh keeps on beating your ass and whooping your ass again, then guess what? You're just gonna have to deal with it. All right, the hard bondage and the hard labor that you're gonna have to serve there, you're just gonna have to do it. You're just going to have, matter of fact, I'm going to talk to Pharaoh and I'm going to make him work you 2 times harder because you bitches want to complain, not knowing that you just got delivered out of the situation, but you're unthankful as shit, right? And that's basically what our people were doing, all right? That's why the Lord's better than me, man, because like the Lord, how he reconsidered and he didn't destroy all of Israel, man. See, me, I'm not as good as the Lord. I would have probably, there wouldn't have been no Israel, all right? Because I probably would have wiped them out. I said, no, this people's fucked up, all right? This people is way fucked up, all right? Done, through, gone, all right? Start over, right? But the Lord had more, that shows that the Lord's better than us, all right? He doesn't have that hostile anger because, goddamn, our people are fucking dumb as shit. They don't know who they are. Here's a scripture. Black, though, it's about black. It's not about being black. It's about being an Israelite, okay? It's about being an Israelite. You don't know who the fuck you are, Jake. You want to be black, you want to be African, you want to be indigenous, you want to be everything but being who you are, an Israelite, all right? The best thing you could possibly be, you don't want to be, all right? Stupid. Isaiah 1:3. We were Egyptian, though. We were Egyptian. No, you weren't, you dumbass motherfucker. The Hamites, the Africans, okay? They were the Egyptians. You were not we're Africans. You're not African. There's another one of those fucking covering casts. You don't even know who you are. You don't even look like that, people, Jake. Do you have a long-ass fucking neck? Do you have a smashed-in pug nose? No, you don't. Are your eyeballs yellow? No, they're not. Are your teeth looking like horse teeth? No, they're not. Is your skin, dull and not shiny? No, it's not. Does your skin not have reddish undertones? No, it doesn't. So you're not the fucking people. You're not those people. You're not the Hamites. You're not the Africans. You're Israelites. Israelites. Dumb, man. Here it is. Isaiah 1:3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. All right? Going up to verse 2. All right? Well, actually, let's go from verse 1 to 4. All right? Verse 1. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, the kings of Judah. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. This is part of the reason the trans-Atlantic slave trade happened, Jake. All right, why? Because we kept rebelling over and 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 over. Oh, and then now the Lord's done something, and now he's the bad guy. But it wasn't bad when we were doing it over and over and over and over and over. You get the point. So it says, verse 3, like it says, and they have rebelled against me. It says, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. A dog knows who owns him, all right? An ox knows who owns him. A donkey knows who owns him. A cat knows, well, barely, but still kind of. They do, though, at the end of the day. They really do, all right? A snake, a lizard, fuck, even a fish, all right? But Israel don't know, right? Like it says, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel to anger. They are gone away backwards. You provoked the Lord, all right? But the Lord's the asshole, right? Even though you provoked him. He's the asshole, right? He gave you a million chances, and because he warned you that he was going to do something to you if you didn't get right. But he's the asshole, though, because he kept warning you, and then he eventually did do something. Anyway, verse 5, you see, you're the asshole. All right, you're projecting is what you're doing. Verse 5, why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. And that's you. The whole head's sick, Jake. I can't even get to the lesson because I'm over here on you fucking assholes, man. Salakia. But Malcolm X, here's the Democrat quote. I typed in Democrat quote. That's not it. Let's see. Here's a good one. It's not the exact one. Here it is, Malcolm X. We won't organize any black man to be a Democrat or a Republican. All right, and Malcolm X had a lot of his issues, but he was right about that. All right, a broken clock is right once or twice a day, depending on if it's a digital or analog clock. But it's Democrat and Republican are both against, and our people have been convinced, well, Democrats are good. Is a Democrat? No, they're both bad. All right, and they'll use you as much as they can. Both. All right, it's just the Democrats hide it a little bit better. All right, they don't wear the swastika on the sleeve. All right, they keep it in the back pocket. It says, we don't organize any black man to be a Democrat or Republican because both of them have sold us out. Both of them have sold us out. Both parties have sold us out. Both parties are racist, and the Democratic Party is more racist than the Republican Party. In a lot of ways they are. Why? Because they hide it. Republicans won't hide it. Here it is. This is one. The white liberal is the worst enemy to America and the worst enemy to the black man. The white liberal has perfected the art of using the Negro as a pawn. There you go. This is one. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful than the conservative. Again, the conservative, these Republicans, they wave their racist flag. I hate these black sons of bitches. But the Democrats, they hide it. They're more deceitful. No, we love the black people. It says, both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. There you go. So let's go and look into the Tulsa race riot. Or a massacre. I'm surprised I don't call it a riot. A lot of the time they call them a riot. Let's see. The Tulsa Race Massacre. It says the Tulsa Race Massacre was a 2-day-long terrorist massacre. Oh, they're actually calling it for what it is. Okay. Perpetrated by white supremacists that took place in Greenwood, Tulsa district of Tulsa, Oklahoma, between May 31st and June 1st. In 1921. Mobs of Edomites, some of whom had been armed and appointed as deputies by city government officials, attacked Israelites at their homes and their businesses. The attackers burned and destroyed more than 35 square blocks of neighborhood. At the time, one of the wealthiest Israelite communities in the United States, colloquially known as Black Wall Street. All right, that's what you usually hear is Black Wall Street. The event is considered one of the worst incidences of racial violence in American history. They continued to, they always do it, right? Target Israelite residences, their homes, businesses, church, schools, municipal buildings. All right, there you go. It says more than 800 people were admitted to the hospitals, and as many as 6,000 Israelite residents were interned, many of them for several days. It says the examination of the events, 39 people dead, 26 Jake, and 13 white, so at least they got, had a couple get back. Right? It says based on contemporary autopsies, and there's probably more than that. Again, they cover these things up. The massacre began during Memorial Day weekend after 19-year-old Dick Rowland, a black shoe shiner, was accused of assaulting Sarah Page. It was a lie, by the way. A white Edomite, 21-year-old elevator operator in the nearby Drexel building. He was arrested, and rumors spread that he was to be lynched. Several hundred Edomites assembled outside the courthouse, appearing to have the makings of a lynch mob. A group of approximately 50 to 60 Israelites, armed with rifles and shotguns, arrived to the jail to support the sheriff and deputies defending from the mob. Having seen the armed black men, the Israelites, some of the Edomites who had been at the courthouse went home to get their guns. There were conflicting reports about the exact time and nature, but, so on and so forth. You can go see that. It says, according to the 2001 commission, as Israelites were leaving, a white man attempted to disarm a tall African-American, as they say, an Israelite, and struggled, and a shot rang out. And then after that, all hell broke loose. Two groups shot at each other until midnight, when a group of Israelites were greatly outnumbered and forced to retreat to Greenwood. So that's what happens, all right? That's what they happened. They had to be outnumbered. More Edomites had to come, because, again, if it was just 12 men and 12 men, those Edomites would have had their asses handed to them at the end of the day. So bear with me. Let me get over here now. Okay, now we're back here. So, it says, let's read about it. It says 99% of white Americans have never heard about this in school. This one said 99.8 if they live in the South. It's true, they don't teach those types of things. Let's see. No reparations for this, but the January 6ers are going to get millions. Yep. It says, well, they probably won't even get any money at all. All right, if you really want to get down to it. Everything's a lie and a scam. They don't like to give money to anybody, black or white. All right, they're more likely to give it to a white individual, so-called, but they still don't want to give that money away. If you really want to get down to it, we've all supposed to been getting, not a stimulus, but we're all supposed to get, like, a tariff repayment. It's supposed to be a couple $1,000s, like $2,000-$3,000, but where's that at? It's nowhere, because it's a lie. This is how they react anytime that black people are seen as equal to them. This is why they hated Obama so much. A black person being, and again, Jake holds on to Obama, and I gotta admit, as a president, I liked Obama. I think he was one of the better ones, but he wasn't an Israelite, all right? He's a Hamite, all right? He's Hamitic. Again, you think that everybody's black as you, but, and that's not how it goes, all right? There's other people that are black, and they're not you. That's why those covering casts make no sense. Going back to the lesson of yesterday, you'll see brown skin, say, oh, they have brown skin, they must be us. Well, a lot of people have brown skin, but you don't see yourself calling yourself an Arab, right? There's Arabs that are darker than Jake, all right? You got some, yellow Jake out here, all right? You got some really light-skinned, Jake individuals out here. Some near down the south that are damn near white-looking, and, they're not that dark, and they'll be called black, but the individuals that are Arab that are actually dark, they're not called black, even though they look darker than some of the black people. Why? That's those covering casts. They don't make sense. Judging by skin color doesn't make sense. It's got to go off of ethnicity, all right, and ethnic origin, not skin color. Oh, I'm black, all right, and not even about facial features. It's got to go about ethnic origin, all right, because it goes through the seed line of your father. Again, but Jake don't know this because they're dumb. It says, where's the people that keep yelling to build our own? At least they got that. All right, you got to wait until the Lord comes back. But Jake and their simplicity. Anyway, you can go read the other one if you really want to, but Jake really doesn't understand much at all. Here's a couple more pictures. All right, they burned it all the way down to the ground. All right, it's the same thing like in Jerusalem where they said raise it, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same people. All right, it's the same Romans. All right, they've always been like that. That's how they are. That's who they are as a people. Okay, that's who they are as a people. What else? Viola Fletcher was an American woman who, at the time of her death, was the oldest known survivor of the Tulsa race massacre. She testified before congregation about the need for reparations. And Esau's never going to give you none. All right, we're going to get the reparations, though, but Esau's not going to give it. It's going to be stripped out of their hands by the Lord. All right, at the end of the day, they owe Israelites everything. Okay, they couldn't possibly pay it back without giving the entire society up. All right, so that's just how it is. Let's see. Don't let them bury my story. There you go. There you go. So it says the attack on Israelites in America, all right, and Tulsa is the epitome of systemic anti-Israelite racism. The Tulsa Massacre should be taught in every American school, and reparations should be paid to all Israelites for the slavery and all other atrocities committed against Israelites in the United States. It's true, but let's be honest, Jake, they're not going to do it. All right, they're not going to do it. It's because they hate you. They got an issue against you. They got a bone to pick. All right, Ezekiel 35 and 1 through 8. And again, as I talked about this yesterday, but these are the same people coming back through reincarnation. All right, a scripture to prove that real quick would be nothing new under the sun. Okay, and Christians don't understand it, but Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, it says, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. So the things in the past are the things that are going to happen in the future, all right, and the things that are current as well. It says, and that which is done is that which shall be done. The things already done are things that are going to be happening in the future. It says, and there is no new thing under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. A lot of people try to take this out of context, but there's nothing new under the sun. Are we under the sun? Yes, that means we're not new. Example, in 10, it says, is there anything, okay, not anything, right? Because a lot of the time it's spelled like this, anything, okay? But any, it wasn't spelled anything, it was spelled anything, all right? To put emphasis on any, okay? When it's split like that, you're putting emphasis on any. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. And it's the same thing with people. All right, it's just like when Yahushua came and was asking disciples, who are people saying that I am? And they named, the people that were being named were all prophets, all right, or one of the prophets. Why? Because you always come back in your lot. If you're a man, you always come back as a man. A woman always as a woman. All right, see, the other nations, they have some concept of reincarnation, but you can come back as a butterfly or as a cow. No, you can't. That's fucking bugged out. Or you can come back as a woman. No, you don't. That's not, and that's how you end up as a woman trapped in a man's body. No, stupid. They don't understand. Not that they're saying that, but they would be the ones to say that. But as a matter of fact, if you get Ecclesiastes 1 and 10, and you get it in the KJV, in the online, KJV online, I believe the word any is actually in italics to emphasize any. Yeah. All right. Emphasize any. Is there anything? Okay, look up if you know about basic literature and as they say language arts. All right, like in school or English or whatever. They had many different names for it. Language arts, English, however you want to call it, literature, however you want to call it. If there's anything, no pun intended, that's in a italic like that, it's to put emphasis on it, all right, when it's used like this, all right, like he was very italic mad, all right, which means he was very mad, he was very mad. Is there anything? No, is there anything, okay, whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. So again, we come back to the regeneration. If there's another scripture that talks about the son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, then there's another scripture that says visiting the wickedness under the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. All right, the sons under the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. All right, roughly paraphrasing. Well, that would be a contradiction, right? He just said the son wasn't gonna bear the iniquity of the father, but then in that one he said it would in the third and fourth generation. Why? Because you come back every 3 to 4 generations, and you were that individual that spoke against the Lord coming back through the regeneration. Again, there's nothing new, okay? So, but our people don't understand that, all right? My people doth not consider, as it says. But Ezekiel 35 and 1 through 8, it says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, this is about Esau, it says, son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Mount Seir is the one of the dwelling places, primary dwelling places of Esau, Edom, all right, who, Esau, all right, the modern day, as we would say, white man, okay? And you can also tell that who the Esau is because they lived in Petra, okay? If you look at Petra and you look at the building, all right, it was where Esau lived, okay? You see how it's built? And come on now. There we go. Okay, Petra. Okay, look at it. See Petra, you see how it's built? Look at the bottom part specifically. Look familiar, right? So it should say it's in the area where the Edomites dwelled. But yeah, see how it looks? See the columns? See the style, right? Well, I want to see where it should say Edomites. Iron Age Edom. There you go, the Edomites. Petra was occupied by the Edomites. Okay? So, the Edomites. So, this was occupied by the Edomites. Well, let's go and look up. See the architecture? You see the Greek architecture? You see the Roman architecture? You see American architecture? Alright? So-called white people architecture? Well, that's because they're the same people. I don't know if you knew this or not. Alright? What's the symbol? What is the symbol of America? The eagle. You know who else the symbol? What was the symbol of Rome? What was the symbol? I'm not going to show you it, but one of their symbols was was also the eagle. Okay, and then if you look into that, what was Esau's symbol? Well, they have an eagle, but he didn't really have a symbol, so to speak, as he did with constant references to him and an eagle. Okay, so there's a scripture. It says something about the eagle. I'm drawing a blank on it. If a brother wants to post it down below, please do. And then there's also talk about how we be brought to another nation, which we shall not know. Swift as the eagle flieth. And again, that's more information of where where we ended up. All right, but again, Jake don't know any of these things. But anyway, going back into Esau, all right, and that's Esau was, in that area, Mount Seir, all right. So he's not saying Mount Seir was a mountain. So the Lord's not telling you to prophesy against the mountain, but the people there. So verse 2, it says, Ezekiel 35 and verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual, look in the word perpetual, it means not ending, not changing, right? Hatred, a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. So that thou hast not hated blood, since you didn't hate blood, then what? Even blood shall pursue thee. Since you didn't hate blood, blood's going to pursue you, all right, and you're going to be killed. Verse 7, Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, in thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. But they always, they try to rebuild. Like, they even say that, you shall throw it out, I shall rebuild. Right, so they always end up rebuilding, but the Lord always ends up getting them. And the average society lasts 250 years, an empire. And coming up in July 4th of 2026 will mark the 250th American year. All right, year of Americans' history. All right, their birthday, so to speak. Right, it's coming up, and America's already spiritually been destroyed, but it's going to be physically destroyed. Come soon. And why I say spiritually destroyed, because the true American spirit is died. The patriotism, nope, it's gone. All right, might have a few people that are still with it, but most people are not with it. So Amos 1:11 says, Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof. because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, there's that word perpetual again, and he kept his wrath forever. Why? Well, we just read that yesterday, because and Esau hated Jacob for the blessing wherewith his father blessed him, okay? Because we ended up as the chosen. And again, he was an ungodly individual, and he sold his birthright for some uncooked stew, and with that, it gave away the blessing that he would have received from Isaac, all right? Because they said, oh, it was stolen. It wasn't, all right? Because the Lord already knew it was going to happen, because when he was talking to Rebekah, he said, 2 nations are in thy womb, and the eldest shall serve the younger, roughly paraphrasing, showing you that the elder is going to serve the younger. Well, the younger would always serve the older. How did this happen? Well, it's because he already knew, because the Lord knows all things, all right, and he predestinated it. He made that to where it was going to happen, to where Esau would sell his birthright. Why? Because Esau was not meant to have it, okay? Because in Esau was the blood, the bloodline lineage of Cain, all right, who killed his brother. And that's the same reason why he's on, oh, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. All right, he's just such a bitch, he couldn't handle it. He had to kill us. That's why he does this. He's such a bitch, he has to go and kill our people. All right, because without his interference, all right, our people through the Lord are most victorious and unstoppable. But now that we have Esau on top of us as a whooping stick, all right, we've been doled down in the state because of the curses. All right, he's gotten proud, thinking that he can really, he's the one doing it. No, the Lord's allowed you to be the whooping stick. You're just the belt, Esau. That's all. You're the switch. You're the belt. All right, and if you didn't have the hand that was holding you, all right, which is the Lord, because the Lord controls all things. Yes, even Esau, Edom, they don't know that they're puppeteered by the Lord, but they are. If the Lord didn't have his hand on you, whooping Jake, you wouldn't even be able to do that, okay? Because you're a base man, as the scriptures say. All right, you're lowest of lowest. You're vile. You can't do anything right, okay? Everything that you've got has been stolen from Jake. All the inventions have been stolen by Jake. All right, stolen from Jake. All right. You wouldn't even have air conditioning on a fucking refrigerator if it wasn't for our people, Jake, Esau. All right, if it wasn't for our people, Jake, Esau, parentheses, right, comma, I mean. So yeah, and then Revelation 13 and 10, it says, here's one for you, come on now, you Edomites, okay? Here's one. You wanted to lead into captivity. Because you had our people in the transatlantic slave trade and doing all these things. Here's one for you. You wanted to kill our people. Guess what? You're going to be killed. All right. You want to go and do all those things. You want to lead into captivity. You're going to be led into captivity. You want to kill. You're going to be killed. Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of saints. So you're going to have a get back, and it ain't going to be so pretty. Okay. Here's one, Numbers 35 and 33. There needs to be a mass cleansing of Edomites, and it's not going to happen at our hands specifically, but at the hands of Yahweh Shem Shai. The Lord's coming back, and he's going to destroy these people as well as the other nations. You other nations, you so-called Asians and Arabs, you're not off scot-free. You Hamites either. A lot of people say, oh, the Israelites, the black people sold the black people. No. The black people are the so-called black people. The so-called black people, the Israelites, and the people that were selling them were Hamites. Okay, not the same people. Now, I'm sure there were Israelites that were selling Israelites, because our people never stray from running into evil, right, when they can do it, all right? You become like a degenerate vine, or a degenerate plant, as the Lord says. Numbers 35 and 33, it says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. So blood, when it falls upon the land, actually defiles the land, right? It says, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. So the only way to cleanse the blood that was spilled is by spreading the blood of those that spread it, all right, to cleanse the land, because they did a great evil, and now they have to be killed to basically put that evil out, all right, from that land. So, yeah, man, it's the anniversary of the Tulsa race massacre, genocide, terrorist attack, and the destruction of Black Wall Street, as they call it. And it's because Esau, all right, who else but Esau, ruining anything that could be considered good. So that's where we're gonna close out. Now you know, Jake. If you don't know, now you know, right? So that's where we're gonna close out. Lord, what was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak, because without him, we wouldn't have this knowledge and this truth and this understanding about any of these things that are going on. So, Barak the Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Barak the Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak for that, and for all things that he's given us, and all things that he's done for us, and for everything ever, right? All things go back to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. If you're just now finding out about the truth, finding out that you're an Israelite, continue. Watch the lessons, all right? Find out who you are, because Esau damn sure doesn't want you to know. If the Lord's, reached out to you, all right, don't slap his hand away. Go and look into it, all right? It's good, decent information. It's not just decent information. It's wonderful information that can preserve your life, Jake. So do it, or don't. It's up to you. Really, it's not up to you at the end of the day. It's up to you, how about Shemi Shai. But keep enduring, keep the faith. We are almost out of here, thankfully. Until the next one, Lord willing, Shalom.